You can almost hear the sound of the ocean and breathe that fresh tropical air. This is Shark Attack for the Atari 2600. And at first glance, this might seem like a cheap knockoff of Pac-Man mixed with Jaws. But the inclusion of the Loch Ness Monster in this game makes it so much more than that. I'll read a passage from the instruction manual. You are a deep-sea diver in search of a fabulous treasure of diamonds that spilled from the hold of a Spanish galleon that sank during a fierce storm in the early 16th century. You dive into the murky darkness of Dave Jones' locker and enter the shark-infested maze of kelp to retrieve the treasure. You know your mission is rife with danger, the menace of the man-eating sharks that patrol the kelp beds, and the legendary Loch Ness Monster, a beast that will pursue you relentlessly if you dare invade its territory. Beware, you cannot kill Nessie. When she is disturbed, Nessie appears from one of the 4 caves, and she will continue after the diver who has disturbed her until your diver leads her back to one of the 4 caves, whereupon she will enter and go back to sleep. The shark cage is no defense against the awesome strength of the Loch Ness Monster. Well, that's just common sense. Everybody knows that. You are the deep sea diver, the little guy in yellow there in the middle of the screen, and you navigate your way through the maze of kelp. At the 4 corners there are mystery caves, and if you go into them you come out of a different one at random. You collect the diamonds, and you'll note the score in the bottom middle of the screen. That's how many diamonds you have in your pocket. But to actually score in the game, you have to take those diamonds back to your shark cage and insert them into that green block thing. Every now and then the Loch Ness Monster does appear. Looks more like a sea urchin to me, but you know, who really knows what the Loch Ness Monster looks like, because all the photographs we've seen have been staged. This is a pretty entertaining game, and this is a great example of the kind of game they just don't make anymore. And there's no way any game would be released today that involves sharks and the Loch Ness Monster. Many people attribute the decline of the Atari 2600 to this vast array of bizarre games that came out around 82, 83. But I like these games. And this game raises a whole host of questions that makes you think as a video gamer. First of all, what the f*** is the Loch Ness Monster doing in the tropics? He's supposed to be in Scotland. Perhaps he needed to collect some diamonds to spend on whiskey. Also, the shark will eat the diamonds if it swims past them, and if it swims past the shark cage, it'll steal 1 diamond out of your shark cage at a time. Just 1. Not the whole thing, just 1. There's a couple different modes in the game, and you can hide in the shark cage and slam the doors, and that should stop the shark from eating you, but not the Loch Ness Monster. Shark Attack is a very fun game. This is entertaining. The controls are a bit clumsy. It's definitely not like Pac-Man or Ms. Pac-Man. You can easily get caught in the kelp when you're trying to swim around it. And you can make the game harder so your diver's moving slower. It gets tough after a while because the shark starts speeding up to a torpedo speed, and it's hard to get out of its way. But all in all, Shark Attack is a solid game, and if you like Atari games and you haven't played this one, it's definitely worth picking up. And the next time you encounter the Loch Ness Monster, buy him a glass of whiskey. Also, when he's trying to eat you, he's much easier to evade if he's smashed out of his mind and swimming into walls and stuff. I think they would have put that in this video game, except that was much more difficult to program on the 2600. It was easier just to come up with the secret caves. I think the secret caves translate into Loch Ness Monster passed out underneath the bar.